Well, good afternoon. It's Monday, May the 20th, and welcome back to the shop, and happy long weekend. It's gorgeous. It's like 28 degrees Celsius, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a beautiful day. I'm inside the garage. I don't have air conditioning in here, and I do have the fans running, so I apologize for the noise, but you can tell how warm it is. I was working on the body earlier this afternoon, and I mixed up some body filler, and I guess I put a little bit too much hardener for the temperature, because I basically made a nice batch of body filler. I came out here addressing some of the wounds on this car. Mostly the biggest problems are where the two pieces of mold, where the car was molded or released. There's incongruities in the whole area. So I mixed up some more body filler, and again, too much hardener. I barely got 3 or 4 spots where I was able to get the body filler on. By the time I got to the 4th or the 5th, I can't remember, I could tell right away, as soon as I went to scoop the body filler, it was already getting hard, and I had to throw half of it away because it just got too hot or too hard. So as I mentioned, when you're working in warm temperatures, ease up on the hardener. Now the door. So we've been working on this door for a while. This had a huge crack all the way down. Remember, this door here had some cracks up in the top, but we dremeled them out and we filled them with glass. That's fine. But this was a crack that ran the entire length of the door. And I think it cracked when the door was slammed at one time. And remember, these hinges are bad. These hinges allowed this door to torque, which means when the door opened and you leaned on the door would move. And if you would go close the door and the door wasn't aligned properly, well, guess what? You take the corners out of the top and you take the end off of the back. And you can see on the left door, the passenger door, this edge here comes right around the corner. This one, as you can see, is gone. I think that in a collision, this broke and that cracked the door. Now, what did we do? Well, we ended up fixing that by running a bead of resin and fiberglass mesh. Now, if you watch the video here, what I had to do is Dremel out the crack. And just like if you're doing drywalling, right? When you put 2 pieces of drywall together, you cannot just put mud in that because it'll crack. You always have to put some tape. You have to put something to bridge that gap. And it's the same thing here. Now on the inside, I'm not so worried, because what I did on the inside is by putting the fiberglass and then putting the mesh and then putting more fiberglass, it's going to bond the two together. And then I can just come in here with some filler and fill the radius up and clean it up. Not a big deal, because I've got a radius to work in, I can feather it in. Here I can't. What happened when this corner broke off? I can't just fill this with resin, because again, I'd have resin against resin, it'll just crack and break. What I ended up doing is dremeling a shelf into the fiberglass. Now, what that shelf allows me to do then is put mesh below the surface of the fiberglass or the door. And that allows me then to build this whole corner up underneath the surface, and then once it's built up, I can come back in with filler and just fill the top just to make it smooth. But if I would just lay the glass on top, then I'd have to fill the whole door in order to make it smooth, right? So we have to put the glass or the fiberglass mesh inside of the door. Now, when I was working on this crack, I created a little bit of the mesh to come up here to give me a bit of a scaffold. This just up here is it's not hard, it's just, you know, it's got a surface area though to allow me to form to and build to. This has got to be done in stages. You can't just build this up in one shot and you're done. This is going to take 3 times. Number 1, scaffold. Number 2, I'm going to lay the fiberglass and the resin just to kind of build the foundation. 3, I'm going to come back with more glass and resin, build this up again, and then once that's up, I can start to shape it, and after that, I can come back in with simple filler, because by that time, it'll be built up with resin and glass. But again, can't do this in one shot. This is a 2, 3, even 4 times to get this built up. I'm going to go mix up some resin. I'm going to bring in some fiberglass. We're going to cut this out, and we're going to stitch this up. Okay, so a piece of fiberglass. You can see that the corner has been cut out. There's my bit of scaffolding, like I said, just to kind of help it. We're going to place it inside the cut I made. We're going to fold it because we need that to become our edge. And then we're going to fold this down. And as you can see, that will then become the new corner for this door. Now I'm going to, first off, use the resin to get the surface Well, I think that worked out really well. We have a nice radius corner there, as you can see. This is perfect. We're going to be able to come back once this hardens up. As I said, this is 2 or 3 steps. Once this hardens up, we're going to come back and layer another piece of glass over this with more resin over this. We want to tie the surfaces together. And once that's done, we can come back with filler anytime. Any work that needs to be done underneath, that can just be ground and filled because that's inside the door. You're not going to see, again, it's in a radius, so it's easy to do a radius. You just fill it with filler and then just sand the edges and you're done. Once this is complete and we get the door hinges back, we can hang these doors back on the car. Once the door is back on the car, we can do all of the body work, which means we can finish the body work sanding on all of the seams I've been working on. We can then get this car into 2K, and once it's in primer, we can then block sand it. And once it's block sanded, we can paint it. I mean, it's really not that far away, to be very honest with you, because the block sanding part is just, you know, a little bit of time and effort. These are the hard parts, right? Fixing the broken things, and that's done. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the short video. If you did, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.